Hello, and welcome back to Shaking for Restoration. It's your girl, Lady Fanta, and I want to take the moment to thank you all who have already followed my blog, for all the feedback that I've gotten, the testimonies that something I shared helped somebody else. I am ever so grateful, and I ask that you continue to follow me on this journey, as this week I share about healing and the process of healing.
Have these visions in my mind of a gift that's still inside. Can't believe my eyes. The moment has arrived.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Pastor J. Listen, this Monday, June 8th, my brand new single, Hold On, featuring the legendary Monique Walker and my niece, Brooklyn. It's going to be available for pre-order. Listen, this is a message for the nation. It's a message of healing, and I'm telling you, a message of hope. Get it from all digital platforms this Monday. Black Lives Matter.
My time is right now. Tell me, are you ready for me? Better get ready for me. I'm here for the taking. I am coming. My time is right now. Tell me, are you ready for me? Better get ready, 'cause I'm coming.
Hey, welcome to Raw and Uncut. I'm your host, Dre Rumble. We have a dope show for you. Tonight I have some amazing guests. First, I want to introduce Portia. Y'all already know who she is. She's been here before. Happy 36th birthday.
Okay, thank you.
She's spending her birthday week with Raw and Uncut. Next, I got my niece, Kiana. My niece, Kiana. Oh, all right. Okay. Well, and then I got my baby girl, Jada.
Hi.
Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everyone.
This is my big girl. She's turning 17. I'm so elated to be her dad. So tonight we're talking about basically say her name. Women seem to be forgotten in this struggle, and right now it seems like everybody's focusing on George Floyd, focusing on different people from the past. So I'm gonna let Jada get relaxed first. Portia, you've been very, very vocal about for people that don't know, you are a feminist. But you've been very vocal about feeling like the women are forgotten in this struggle of the Black Lives Matter, about the unsolved cases, the cops who weren't charged by brutally killing African American women in the struggle. So I just want to hear some of your thoughts on that.
So peace world. There has been a major concern within the community, as you know, we already know that Black men are being targeted at a lot. The numbers are astronomical. You see what I'm saying? Right? So, but in that we also you have Breonna Taylor, Bland, and we've noticed Black women who are in this struggle, in this struggle, Black women who have been doing the work for years. We've noticed that the hyper-availability of Black women who have been murdered by police have been erased. Not let me change that word. I don't want to say erased, but they are invisible. Where now we are centering Black men as the poster boys for police brutality. And so that's the problem, because when you look at the protests, who's on the front line? You see black women are at the front of the line. So my whole thing in what black women are saying, who are, revolutionists, what we're saying is all black lives cannot matter if black women and black trans women aren't mattered, because black trans women and trans men are being murdered at the same rate as cis black men. So that is the problem. So what we have to get to a point is we have to include everybody, because all black lives matter, all of them. So now we have to find a solution to where how can we put everybody in this thing? How can we figure out, how can we include everybody? Because George Floyd has just been censored, and Breonna Taylor is at the back seat.
Right. So I have my two young babies here, my niece Kiana and my daughter Jada. So you guys were on the protest one day with me, as young African American females. I want to ask Shorty first. That's my nickname for my daughter. I want to ask Shorty first. What was it like? What was your experience like? What did you get from that? Because you called me and was like, "Dad, where are you?" It was like, "I'm protesting and Kiana is coming," and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna come." So what was that experience like for you?
I think it was good because I never been protesting. Never went protesting before, but it was also scary at the same time. It was also scary at the same time because I didn't know what the cops was gonna do, because it was a lot of African American there. So it was kind of fun and nerve-wracking at the same time.
Oh, okay. What about you, Kay?
So I feel like it was scary. It was
I can't hear you.
Wait, can you hear me now?
No, unmute yourself.
You
There.
hear me?
No, I still can't hear you. You might have to go out and come back in. Okay.
I
This
heard
is her first time. You heard her?
I heard it too.
Oh, I didn't hear her. You think maybe it's me? I didn't hear her. But so Shorty, what did you think about the Sandra Bland thing?
When I was looking it up, I don't think it was fair at all, because she, like the rest of them, she was a young African American who went to jail, and then she got arrested for no reason.
Okay.
So,
Porsche, how did that affect you?
Well, of course, her being a black woman, that affected me deeply, because Sandra Bland could have been me. We were around the same age when she was murdered by the police. So
Wow.
I took it personal, when she died. But I think I felt my emotions were all over the place the way she was done. And it goes back to how black women are treated in America. Malcolm X said that black women are some of the most disrespected people in America. And it showed with Sandra Bland, how she was treated, how she became, we fought for her. We did what we had to do. But in the end, her killers are still walking. They're still 3 men. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it made me, in retrospect, look at, as a black woman, like, what are we doing as a community to protect black women? And that's the problem. Black women aren't being protected. You understand? We're not necessarily saying go out and fight the police, but and this is no shade to black men, because I love my black men. But let's just be real. How many black men have organized protests for Black women who have died at the hands of police brutality. So, and I'm not trying to, get off subject. So, but it's kind of offensive.
No, this is what we here to talk about.
I was offended when Black men say, oh, well, Black women, y'all need to love us more, besides when we're being killed by police. And it's like, wait a damn minute. Who you think are organized? I'm sorry, baby.
It's okay.
Are you?
No, because I have I have kids, so I don't want to do the most. But
she's all right.
But it makes me say, but who do you think are organizing these protests and these rallies? Who do you think are doing it? So where is the reciprocation when Black women are being murdered? So that Sandra Bland really sparked those questions in my mind.
Kiana, what did you think about the Sandra Bland situation?
So I was saying, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Y'all can hear her because I can't hear her.
I can hear her.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear her.
So maybe it's me. All right, y'all keep talking. I'm gonna go out and come in.
All right, say what you were saying.
So basically how I feel, like, it was scary because it was like when we was in their faces, you could see the rage in their eyes. You could see that they really hate us from like they really personally hate us because they started getting weapons, and what we were saying was like we was expressing how we feel about situations that happened, about how people was hurting us and people hate us, and you could see them going to get their weapons, and we were just like confused because we wasn't saying anything but how we feel and like how Black lives really matter. So it was like just a little scary to me because I'm like, yo, this is really how police really move. Like, this is something that I've experienced now that I went to the protest. Like, you can really see the hate in their eyes. So that was a little scary to me.
So let me ask you this: was this the first time? And I mean, my daughter usually shares stuff with me. Was this the first time any of you have ever had interactions with the police like that?
Yes. Me, yes.
Yes, this is the first time that I've sit and I've experienced it personally. Like, I've seen videos and stuff, but I never like actually experienced that.
So this was both of you first time ever like, yo, I'm really shook of the police. Like, I don't know what may happen.
I ain't scared of them. I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying that was my first interaction with them.
What about Push? Have you ever?
Now, Dre.
No, I don't know. I don't.
Now you know I done had many encounters with. Okay, well I done had plenty of encounters.
Can you share one of them? Can you share like one of the most horrifying ones?
One thing that even before me, doing the work as an activist, I was a troubled teen, So my first encounter with the police, I was like maybe 12 or 13. And I was exposed to the juvenile detention, that system. And there's this thing where it's called the school to prison pipeline, where, systematically Black children are in impoverished neighborhoods. The school system is set up to fail us. So we don't get the same opportunities as white children or Asian children or children who are non-Black, right? So, if you're groomed in poverty and the education system is failing you, you are going to fight. You're going to be disruptive. You're going to become combative. And that was my narrative. So my first interaction with that system, with the police, was when I was like 12 or 13. And from then, even though I could not articulate it, or I did not have the language to identify what it was, I knew that the police didn't like me. One, I knew that the police didn't like me because I was Black. And two, I knew that the police didn't like me because I was a female. So that was already 2 strikes against me. So that was my first ever encounter with the police. And they were not nice. They were very rude to me. They talked down to me when my mother came up, to the station and tried to talk to them. They were very rude to her because then at the time, my mother, she did not have an education, and and then I'm from the South. So that plays into it as well. So because down south they still operate under a Jim Crow, I'm sorry, mentality. Jim Crow is in the South. And so when I encountered them, like I said before, even without the language, I knew that I was not like, and I was told from a very young age to be they did not, we don't want to see you in here no more. If you do, you're gonna be serving this amount of time. You're gonna be doing, and then I got put on probation. So it's all Black women who are troubled, who were groomed in the streets like I was. Firsthand, we know why the police don't like us. Because Black women are the most hated women in America. Period. Period.
Wait, hold on, because I see my daughter shaking her head. So that means that this is a conversation you probably been having with yourself, and I want you to be honest. Do you feel like, as a Black woman, that you are underappreciated?
Honestly, yes. Because when I was since a lot of stuff is like social media now, and I was watching this one video on Instagram, and this police officer was just beating on this Black female for no reason. That and she looked like she was like 2 years older than me. So that really hurt me, because I feel like how you're not appreciated and how people just don't care what females do. They just do whatever.
Oh wow. Kiana, what about you? Is that something that you've thought about?
Well, yes, because for the simple fact that we're Black women, we're empowered, we're strong. We take stuff and we make stuff, we do stuff with it. So I feel like people downgrade us because we're up there. So when people see us doing, it's like that with Black period. Like when people see us doing great, they start to knock us down and they start to move away from us, and they start to try to use us and do stuff where we can't succeed. And that's the problem with the way people treat us Black women. We're not appreciated. We're not nobody takes their time to sit and say, oh, I appreciate you and thank you for this, thank you for making this, thank you for doing that for us. So yeah, that's really strong for me too.
So do y'all feel that way only from the opposite race, or do you even feel like within your own race? Not even just Black men. Do you feel like other Black women appreciate other Black women? Or do you feel like other Black men appreciate Black women? That's for anybody, whoever wants to answer that.
How old? I know Jada is 16. How old are you, young queen Kiana?
I'm
She just turned 18. 19.
Kiana,
She just turned 19.
Kiana is the same age as my daughter. And so I will say this. One reason why I became a Black feminist is because of Black women being underappreciated. From the age of infancy, we are hypersexualized, we are over-sexualized, and we are so indoctrinated with it that when we see our young girls, our toddlers, our little girls dancing, we automatically stop being fast, don't do that. Whereas if a non-Black child, a white toddler, was doing the same dance as a Black toddler, we look at it as it's innocent. So from the womb, Black women and Black girls are targeted. To hear them say that, I was that same age with that same mentality. Like, I knew the world didn't like me. Now, and I rebelled because I knew I was not liked in this society, because I was poor and I was Black and I was a high school dropout, and then I became a teen mom. I already had 4 strikes against me. So what did I do? At the time, I rebelled against society. I became that stereotype. I became that narrative of, the ghetto welfare queen, you know, the stereotypes that they give black women. But how, as Kiana said, it doesn't just come from our black men. We're not like across the border. And God forbid, if we are educated, we are articulate, intelligent, we are bold, we say what we want, we have standards, we are firm in who we are, we're confident, we're powerful, but yet we're deadly. Look at the Kardashians, all of these non, black women trying emulating us with the full lips, the hips, and the thighs, and yet our black men idolize these women, idolize these body types. But with the black women, we are hypersexualized and oversexualized. We're told we're being whorish, and when we're doing the same thing that the Kardashians do, that's the problem.
All right, so I'm glad you brought that up, because that's definitely something, and this is why I love having these conversations, because there's always something that you could take from it, and then it can flip you, and now it makes you start wondering certain things. So my daughter, and I definitely know my niece watches Ratchet TV. Why is it that you think, and I want one of them to answer, or they both could take turns answering. So I know Jada for a fact has watched the Kardashians, but she also watches Love and Hip Hop, Black Ink, stuff like that. I definitely know Kiana watches Love and Hip Hop. I don't know if she watches the Kardashians, but why do you think it is that the Kardashians and what they display don't get the kind of ridicule that something like a Love and Hip Hop would get? So you see, the Kardashians and Kylie and all of them with their different type of the way they get all these things injected into them and have all these surgeries, whereas somebody like a woman like K. Michelle, who had that, and then I remember Spice wanted to bleach her skin or whatever, and she caught backlash. So why is it that you think the Kardashians could get away with it, but then if somebody like a Mimi or a K. Michelle tries to do it, oh, she's doing too much? That's for Kiana or Jada.
You got this, Jada.
I think the Kardashians could get away with it because we understand, since we're black, I'm black, so I know what they're like going through or whatever. And to see Spice that episode when she bleached her skin, I'm like, nah, that's right. That's not right. Because I know people from her side of the family felt some type of way because Black Lives Matter, our skin color matters. So why would you try to be somebody else that you're not? That's how I feel.
That's good, shorty. Go ahead, Key.
I agree with her.
You agree with Jada? Porsche, why do you think that is? I saw Pastor Alex Williams on here, and he said it's black appropriation. What do you think about that, Porsche? Why do they get the free ride? Why do they?
I mean, it definitely goes back to in slave time. When you young queens get time, I want you to Google Sarah Barton. I think that's her name.
That's the lady with the picture that Kim Kardashian copied, right?
Yeah. She was a slave woman, and she was, proportioned, had big butt, all of that. What we see. And the white when she came over, white people, experimented with her body. Like they really did some things to her. So first of all, research Sarah Barton. And then two, white people, non-POC, non-people of color, they fetish black bodies. That's one. Now, when it comes to body modification, I don't have no problem with that. I feel like if a black woman chooses to modify her body, so be it. But if a black woman chooses to be, have the body that she was born with, then that's fine too. But the thing with the Kardashians is that a lot of us, colorism plays into why young black girls, watch the Kardashians, because if you look at Instagram, if you look at social media in its totality, you see that a lot of Black men lust, desire non-Black women with Black women bodies. Okay, so that plays with it. Colorism plays with why we are so glued to the Kardashians and then you see the Black girls, and this is no shade because you can do what you want. Now you see Black girls emulating or trying to emulate the Kardashians when the Kardashians are emulating us. It all has to do with social validation, white supremacy, colorism, low self-esteem, having our men idolize non-Black women. It goes back to what are Black men telling our young girls, what are Black fathers telling their Black daughters in the home. Are we telling our Black daughters how beautiful they are, why they're beautiful? Are we instilling that into them? Plays a role into why we worship the Kardashians or non-Black women who have body types like Black women.
Wow, that's all right. So there's a lot of comments coming in. Please comment, ask your questions, share. I'm excited to have the guest that I have, my sis Portia. Y'all already know she's a regular, but I'm more excited because I have my babies here. I have my niece and my daughter, who was reluctant to do this, but she's obedient. Bless her heart. I'm glad that she's here. She's probably going to beg for some sneakers. But I want to go. I seen Chantel put up a comment, and her response to what you were saying, Push, was social acceptance. I want to go to what Charmaine had put up too. And Chantel put the exclamation point. So I mean, she really meant that. My boss said something to me the other day that I'm still thinking on. She said, "Me as a white woman can walk through the wait. Wow, I'm skipping through it. I'm already getting aggravated. I really want y'all to hear this. My boss said something to me the other day that I'm still thinking on. She said, "Me as a white woman can walk through doors and have walked through doors that you as a Black woman could never walk through. And I understand this is why y'all are fighting for this cause." That is 100% factual. My aunt Rebecca posted something too. Can you put that comment up? It's because we are looked at as if we shouldn't be able to. They get away with it because they are looked at as being upper echelon and it's acceptable. But if a Black woman tries to do it, we are not staying in our lane. We're trying to be better than what we are supposed to. The men think that we are too strong, too combative, and too boisterous. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. As a black man, I've heard other black men say things as far as why they date or why and all of this still deals with us not supporting our dead Black soldiers, our dead Black women, our dead Black queens who were killed by the hands of cops. Because what it does, it shows not only is there systemic racism, but society has put us in a place where we don't respect the Black women. We don't. So I'm very hard on the girls, and they hopefully through this conversation they can see why. Like, I'm very hard on my daughter. Yo, I don't care. I'm not asking you to be an A++ student, but I'm asking you to do amazing. Why? Because there are certain things that you need in order to walk through certain doors. And you said something about over sexualizing. Do you think that's remember Tiana and Jada's too young to remember this? You remember BET Uncut?
Yeah.
All right. Now my thing was, I've had arguments and debates about this. So with the Black men doing what they did to Black women, I've watched. I don't know if you saw that movie, A Video Girl, with Megan Good, where she was like a video vixen or whatever. But I've watched women be okay with doing this. Go ahead. No, I'm asking you that because I want your input.
You know, like, I'm all for. I feel like a Black woman who chooses to, navigate in modesty deserves the same respect as a black woman who chooses to be a sex worker. Sex workers deserve the same respect, period. But that's just my ideology. Those are my beliefs. But I feel like the hypersexualization of black women stems from white supremacy. I will always but that's just me. But with the BET Uncut, I don't necessarily feel like those women, I personally don't feel like those women were wrong. This is what they chose to do. It is their body. I feel like that, if a black man, I'm very skeptical, and I side eye black men who say, oh, well, she needs to respect herself before I can respect her. Why does a black woman have to respect herself first for you to respect her as a black man? Why can't you just respect her because you come from us? And me being under the teachings of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, I was taught that y'all come from us. The black man comes from the black man comes from the black woman. You understand?
I'm about to say my mother's Jamaican. She ain't white.
Oh, my bad. That's how we were taught, that the black woman.
I agree with her. Y'all barely will be anything without us.
Exactly. We are the mothers of civilization. Everything comes from the black woman. Our black leaders, all of these things come from the womb of the black woman. Yes. So when black men disrespect the womb from which they come from, the problem is not the black woman who chooses to expose herself or to express or honor her sexuality or express her sexuality in ways that we think is not acceptable. The problem is when men begin to disrespect us because of these things. So although y'all come from us, the whole respect factor, the whole hyper invisibility of black women stems from the mindset of the black man. So it isn't what should black women do. It is what do black men have to unlearn? What have you been taught? Why do you hate black women? Why do you hate us? Why aren't
But what makes you think that the black man hates black women?
Because of the way we are treated, the way that the hyper invisibility of us, the way we are erased, colorism. Now you can have your preference, but when your preference begins to drag black women, when your preference in women begins to degrade black women, when you say, oh, I like white women because black women are too loud, when you begin to say, oh, I like feminine women and I can't date black women because they're too strong. If you notice, this is why I wrote that calling me a strong black woman is not a compliment, because it dehumanizes us. It doesn't give us space to be feminine. No, it's not a compliment. Calling me a strong black woman is not a compliment, because then you expect me to always be strong in spaces where I should be soft.
I don't think so.
Why you
I don't think so, because I don't even raise my daughter like that.
You don't raise your daughter like that, brother. But for the black women who are tired, I'll say this and then
I feel like what she said.
I can't hear you, Key. What you said? What you think about what she said, Jay? You think black boys, your black friends, your black homies, your little boo things, look at you think your little boo things, you feel they respect you?
Do you said do I know
do you feel like they respect you? Because you're very tough. There's a lot of times I gotta tell you, why are you talking to him like that? Like you're very you feel like you have to be that way?
Honestly, yes, so they won't get too comfortable.
Ooh.
That's how I feel.
Say why don't you want them to get too comfortable?
You give them room to be comfortable, then they feel it's okay for them to talk to you any kind of way. That's why I talk very aggressive, so nobody will play with me.
You get that from your mother?
I feel that way.
You get that from your mother? Let the world know where you get that from.
Yes.
So they can know how she talks to me. Push, what do you think of, like, for you've been 16 once, for somebody like her who feels she has to earn her respect? What do you think about that, or what she's saying?
Well, I don't want to be disrespectful towards your wife, because, you know, with telling her things, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's a respect factor. You see, like, I don't want to say the wrong thing and then it be like, oh, well, I got this from there.
I'm her pappy.
Okay, I'm sorry, but yeah, being 16, I was aggressive too, because I always, again, felt like I carried the strong black woman thing, and that was just my shield. And so I was aggressive. I was combative. I was not submissive. You know, I wasn't soft. It wasn't none of those things. I was always, what, nigga, what you say? I was one of those too. But the older you become, Jada, the more and the more you see that, like your mom said, you can simultaneously be strong and feminine. But when we only attach strong to black women and not give them space or give them an opportunity to be feminine, to cry, to have rage, to have anger, to have happiness, to have joy, it dehumanizes us, and it makes the world think that black women are monolithic, and that, oh, we're only one way, and that's hard and strong. Well,
But you know what? That's what they present though. That's what because I even just like the whole thing with the chick from Wild 'N Out said, the B Simone chick, and we'll just tap into it for 2 seconds, because I definitely want to do that as another show topic. But with her talking about only wanting somebody, not wanting somebody who works a 9 to 5. Like, women are like the new women are naturally aggressive.
huh?
Yeah.
Don't do that, Dre.
Yeah. It's done. It's already done.
Don't do that, bro. Come on.
You have women.
Bro.
You have women who would square up with a dude.
But why are we? You have to get to the root.
I don't know.
If from a young
every chick is something different.
If from a young age, Dre, I tell you, you are a thug. You a thug. Boys don't cry. Boys don't cry. Boys don't cry. Man up. Man up. Man up. I'm telling you this from the time you're able to internalize and understand language. Like, no means no, yes means yes. If I'm telling you from that age, that you're a thug, black boys don't cry, man up, men ain't supposed to cry. I planted the seed and I've indoctrinated you with that mindset. So when we tell our black girls that, and I've caught myself late, a year or two ago, telling my baby, a baby, don't cry, stop crying, stop being a crybaby. Messages like that tell her, oh, well, in moments where she should be vulnerable, that she has to be strong, that she has to repress those feelings. Natural feelings, natural emotions, rage and anger are natural emotions. But if I'm telling her, or if you telling black girls, oh, don't cry, man up, what type of behavior and mindset do you think we're going to have? You don't think we're going to be like, I ain't letting no nigga get me. I ain't crying. I ain't no crybaby. And then you wonder why we're so angry. It's because we're not allowed to feel our feelings.
Wait, so Kiana, do you feel like because Kiana, you're aggressive too. Like, you go from 0 to 1 million real quick.
Yes, Queen. It's good.
She'll go from 0 to 1 million real quick. Are you naturally like that?
I think I am actually. I personally think that I'm naturally like that. But I agree with her because we are taught to man up, or we are taught don't cry so much, or you shouldn't cry about this, or you shouldn't cry about that. So I agree because we have feelings. Everybody has feelings. Everybody cries. Everybody's mad. Everybody has feelings. So you telling us man up, you telling us, oh, we can't cry because of the situation, oh, this is nothing to cry about. It's like, what you mean? And then y'all be mad when we're aggressive, and now we have a reason to be mad. Now we have a reason to be angry and lash out or whatever you want to call it. Like, so it's like, what do y'all want? Which one do y'all
All
want?
right,
Y'all
hold on.
want the crybaby or the angry?
Let me read this comment, and then I'm gonna get back to what you said, Key. I do agree with her regarding the strong black woman concept to an extent. I don't mind being considered a strong black woman, but the issue is a lot of black men are not being the stronghold that they are supposed to be. There is a deficit in black men who uphold their roles. That takes care of their families, be the head of the home, take care of their women's hearts so that a woman can feel vulnerable enough to be soft. If the man is not standing in his role and making you feel safe to be, I can't read the rest of the comment. To be, I'm gonna see if I can read it from my phone. Um, you feel safe to be. I'm sorry. If the man is not standing in his role and make you feel safe to be submissive and lean on him, then the woman has to stand in both roles and be strong for everybody because we are the foundation and nurturer of the home. Um, right now, my brother Dante said something. If you want to see a man cry, let his favorite player win a championship. That's how we cry in sports. Now, as far as that as you can see, my wife, she calls me a robot because I'm not a crier. I don't cry. I'm not a crier. I think probably the first time she ever saw me cry was when my bishop died. I'm not a crier. I don't cry. That's just something that, but I do teach my daughter, right, shorty? Like you could cry, you could. I just don't want her crying for nothing dumb. Like I did tell her, like there was a situation, and I was like, "Yo, you don't need to be crying. What are you crying for? What? No, because at the same time, um, we don't want to see them be weak. I feel like if somebody sees that she's crying, I'm not saying don't cry in private. Like just don't cry in front of people. Like or don't yeah, Portia, you can make it that's what I just don't feel like you should cry in front of people. Like cry in your own time, cry in the shower, cry with your friends. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like there are certain moments where you shouldn't allow yourself to be vulnerable. That's just how I feel. I know y'all gonna kill me for saying that, but that just is what it is. Um, you look like you have something to get off your chest, Porsche.
I mean, because there is a deprivation of emotional intelligence in the black home where black men, don't show or not show, but not only show, but lack emotional intelligence. And so, I've been in relationships with black men and they were emotionless, deprived of emotional intelligence, never show any type of anything, no signs of did the situation make you feel some type of way? Is it something I've done? Everything was always expressed in a passive aggressive manner. And so again, I'm not saying I just only do telling you guys what I do or try to do in my home. What I implement in my home now is be vulnerable, cry. Crying over a guy. If my daughter called me and told me, a a knucklehead hurt her feelings. Now the situation to me may not be worth a tear, but I'm not going to deprive her of that moment of vulnerability Now, of course, I won't cry over a dude not calling me for 3 days. You really doing me a favor because I'm stuck in my ways anyway. But for someone, but for a young black woman who's who's like who has not yet gotten her feet wet in the world, it hurts. It does make her feel some type of way. So I'm just saying, like, I just want the society to stop being so critical of black women. I want society to stop telling our black girls that, they're strong. Yes, we are, but it's not a compliment. And when I say that, I mean, when you first meet me or you see our beautiful black girls, the first thing that comes out of why does the first thing that comes out of your mouth ought to be, you sure are strong.
Wait, they say that?
You'll be surprised at how many men.
Wait, Kiana's shaking her head. Yes, that's how they bag you, Key. They tell you you're strong. That's what they say. They don't say I like your orange hair. They say you're strong.
I'm just.
I'm loving.
They don't say I like it.
Like, yeah.
No, but you shaking your head yes, as if this has happened to you. So I just want to know, as your uncle, so I can let you know what to say. Is that what they say to you, Shorty? Oh, that's what you was doing. They say that to you, Shorty. They be like, you strong? What do they say?
They be
Or
like,
you don't.
They be like, you pretty. Can I get some?
And when they say you pretty, what do you say?
Thank you, but no thank you.
No. You're supposed to say my dad tells me that all the time. That's what you're supposed to say. Our ancestors were strong out of necessity for a survival instinct. Unfortunately, not much has changed in the world systems to make us move from that ideology. And that's a fact. Like, I just feel like women are naturally strong. I was telling somebody this on the phone. I never knew when my mother was having a bad day. I never knew when my mother was struggling. Cause she always, and not to say my father wasn't there, but she just got home from work first. My stepfather was always there, but I didn't know what it was like to watch my mother. It wasn't until I got older and she started explaining certain things to me. You know what I'm saying? Like she don't know. I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? And part of it also is I blame Beyonce. This is all Beyonce's fault.
You're not gonna sit up on Beyonce.
Shorty, don't look at me like that.
Why did
this
you?
Beyonce's fault. Why did I'm explaining why I said that? Because she came out with this independent woman song, and what is and then she put us at a certain standard. Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bills? Can you pay my automotive? Say, I gotta pay your bills before we can even chill. That's what she said.
You playing, right?
No. This is what she said. So then she came out with the independent woman joint. The shoes on her feet, she bought it. The car she's driving, she bought it. So therefore, I think it sent a message around the world. You know what I'm saying? And now all these women just feel like they strong. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, wait, I want to go back to Chantel's comment.
I was just reading.
So I don't think being strong is a bad attribute. I've encountered a lot. My strength came from what I endured, but I'm a sweetheart though. I'll let Jada respond to the sweetheart part. And what was the comment after that? I feel as though they use the term strong to cover the abuse they attempt to push through physically, mentally, and emotionally. Wait, so you saying we call you strong just to show you how unstrong you are? That's what it sounds like is being said.
No, I think what she's saying is that y'all that society, black men specifically, call us strong because if you look at it, a lot of black women feel like they have to endure years of abuse in order to find Prince Charming. Whereas, and not saying I can't speak on behalf of white women, but rarely have I heard stories of black women, of white women having to struggle and deal with years of abuse before they got married. I'm just saying, and I just told you a disclaimer that I can't speak for white women, but I can only speak from observation from what I see.
You don't watch them Lifetime movies? Them white women be going through it, child.
But black women are expected to stick through abuse, years of emotional, mental, psychological abuse before she can experience love.
I don't agree with that.
Okay, well, I'll speak from experience.
I think number one, I think it's I think everything is trial and error. Like you can't you know what I'm saying? I try to you know teach my babies this. There's gonna be moments where you're going to try relationships and it's not gonna work. It's not going to. There's gonna be moments where he might present one thing and be something else. You know what I'm saying? We're caught strong and buttered up into these relationships just to get hurt. Ooh, somebody's venting.
I just don't think that a black woman has to endure years of abuse and neglect and all of these toxic things in order to experience love. Now, I've had my share of abusive relationships. I've had my share of all of these things, but I don't feel like but we are taught that we have to be the ride or die. Now, if that's your thing and that's what you choose to do, then that's fine with you because I'm always pro choice. But I just feel like black women shouldn't have to, we don't have to endure that to get this. We can, if you can set your standards high and stay single for years until you meet somebody that's not going to give you that. If you see them.
But y'all are naturally, and this is the part where you guys are naturally nurturers.
Absolutely.
So there are certain things like for instance, let's say you meet somebody who wasn't raised by his mother or his grandmother, wasn't really raised by a woman. He was raised by a father that had certain views.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know Bishop Townsley was always good for a good kumbaya moment. And he always taught me sometimes in order to relearn, you have to unlearn.
Absolutely.
So what if the first 6 months you see something good in him, but he's still showing you patterns of how he grew up. And it's something that you don't want to let go because you see the good in it. But then again, it's like, I don't know if I could deal with all this. But he hasn't been taught. He hasn't been taught how to be a nurturer. He hasn't been taught how to receive love a certain way. So what if you're that person to show him that? You just gonna throw the baby out with the bathwater?
I feel like I don't have to show you anything. I feel like, and this is just my whole thing. Change is a decision. And it can be inspired, but ultimately you wanting to change as a man has to be something that you want.
But I'm saying, what if you don't know no better?
Well, to know better is to do better. I can show you, but me sticking around personally, I wouldn't.
That's what I'm saying. I personally think it depends on the situation and how drastic and how bad it is. That's just like back to what we originally was talking about, where we're talking about racism, and we're talking about if a cop has it implemented in his mind that this girl is a nigga, and first of all, the only thing he could be threatened by is your skin complexion, because it can't be your physical, because
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying. You really not posing no threat physically.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter is like 5'5",
Mm-hmm.
just 5 foot. Are you that tall? You're lying. You're lying. You're 4'11". If you wear your mother's heels, you're 5 foot tall. So if a cop sees her, he's automatically gonna want to do something because she's black. It can't be because of the physical threat, but that's something that has to be changed on the inside. But at the same time, it's a conversation that has to be had too, because guess what? Racism, just like any type of other abuse, is taught.
Yeah, but but even in that, see, even in what you said could be picked apart, because it's like, okay, if a white cop who's been indoctrinated with racism, with white supremacist thinking or theory, and
Mm-hmm.
he sees your daughter as a threat, it's not your daughter's job to help him unpack.
Right? No, right? Yeah, definitely not. Yeah.
So in that same that same context, or not, we black women cannot show you how to we can't like be like, hey, this is not it, or the like abusive behavior. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if a black man
Mm-hmm.
is abusive, that first hit, and not saying that when I was in those type of relationships that I left the first time, because I stayed most of the time, but I'm older now. So what I'm saying is that it's not our job as black women to tell you, hey, don't hit me, because you know right from wrong, and you know that putting your hands on me is wrong. So why do I have to stick around for years, and every time we do good and you hit me and I'm like, oh no, but I know he a good man because our good days outweigh the bad. That is detrimental to young black girls when we say, hey, stick around, see the potential in that man, and that man is abusive. That's dangerous. That's not good.
Yo, this is another topic for another show. This was amazing, Portia. This is why I invite you, because you always talking your stuff. I wanted to say something else, but we don't have
We
a
got
beat on on the thing. So some parting words before we get out of here. I'm gonna let Kiana say something. Tell them where. Oh, before we do that, yes, you need to get Portia, you and Jamel will be. Oh my God, that'll be a crazy show. Oh my God, that'll be a dope. I'll definitely tune in for that one. But my niece Kiana has her own YouTube channel.
Let me see.
Um, give them the channel key. I don't know what it is. Oh, she's frozen. I'm gonna have to.
Her channel,
What is it? You know?
yeah, it's
What's her YouTube?
Keeping Up with Key.
Keeping Up with Key. That's the YouTube channel. She has amazing stuff on there. Shorty, tell them what you doing. Tell them what you got coming up. Tell them your Instagram and all that.
I don't got nothing coming up. I'm just doing me,
What? Tell them your Instagram. Tell them where they can follow you.
Hold on. My Instagram is the real Jada, with Jada Marie with 2 E's. Okay. And then Facebook is J Dior.
JDR. That's my baby. I love her. She's doing amazing. I'm so proud of her. Push. Some parting words. Let them know about your blogs and where they can find your stuff.
So I have a blog on medium.com. I write under the moniker of Fujo Shakur. That's Fujo. Shakur, like Tupac Shakur, and I write about the social issues that black women face, that sent to black women, that's have to do with sexism, sexual oppression, all of these things. I can be found on, you can see me on Brother Dre's page, Portia Wakefield, or you can follow me on Facebook under Fujo Shakur, Twitter and Instagram. It's all the same thing. And I just want to encourage Jada and the other young queen to research these Black women that paved the way for us. Be unapologetically you, stand in your truth, be true to yourself. And that's it. And Dre, thank you for always having me.
Thank you for always being havable. Yo, enjoy your birthday. Shorty, I'm gonna call you. I love you. Thank you for doing this for Dad. You're amazing. I know you didn't want to do it, but thank you so much. Take them shades off your face. It's dark. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to Raw Uncut. Before I go, I just wanna y'all stay here. Don't leave. Don't disappear. Because I definitely want to do the say her name portion. I just want to name some young queens that we lost in the struggle. Tatiana Jefferson, Pamela Turner, Corinne Gaines, Yvette Smith, Miriam Carey, Shelley Frey, Darnisha Harris, Breonna Taylor, and Sandra Bland. These are just some young queens that we lost to police brutality. Most of these cases are unsolved or the officers have not been charged. So we out here still fighting for justice. We still fighting for justice for them. And these are some cases I'm definitely going to look into personally and see what we can do to bring some justice to those people. But thank you again. Download the single. Get ready, please. Go get L. Butler's album, 5/30/2074. It's on all media outlets. And next week's show is going to be amazing. I have my mother coming on here. I have my brothers coming on here. It's going to be crazy. Thank you for all the Raw and Uncut supporters. See y'all next Thursday, 9 p.m. Tune into my sister's show, Sister Sanctity of Sisterhood, on Monday nights at 9 p.m. And also the Living Water show on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. I love y'all. We out. Peace.
Have these visions in my mind of a gift that's still inside.